Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast blending soul and science-based strategies to empower pandemic moms like you, raising kindergarten-ready kids. I'm Cara Tyrrell, your host, a lifetime lover of littles, girl mom, early childhood educator, and conscious parenting coach who truly believes that how we connect and collaborate with our kids in the first 5 years is how we raise world-ready kids who will change this world. Welcome back to the Holidays mini-series here on the Transforming the Toddler Years podcast. Before we dive into this important topic, maintaining and honoring other people's health during the holidays, let me ask you a quick question. Do you want to cultivate more magic and less meltdowns as you move through the holidays? Of course you do. You are a conscious, collaborative mom, and that's why you're here. I'm so excited to invite you to our 12 Days of Christmas Toddler Tips Challenge. It's happening inside our private Facebook group. Just go to the link in the show notes, register for the challenge, come on in and get to know us. And then over the first 2 weeks of December, watch daily for 3-minute videos where I sing to you, wear a Santa hat, do the 12 Days of Christmas song, and give you a tip of the day every day for adding more magic to your holidays. Click through the link in the show notes or go to caratyrrell.com/magic to register today. Welcome back to the Holidays mini-series here on the Transforming the Toddler Years podcast, where we are proactively putting the magic in the holiday and avoiding meltdowns. Today's topic is staying healthy during the holidays. And whoa, this is a big one. I have a few stories I want to tell you, and they lean into the different ways that being healthy during the holidays happens. There's 3 different things I want to talk about today. First, unexpected illness. That is just part of life. One day, your child is fine. The next day, they're sick. One day, you're fine. The next day, you're sick. I also want to chat about proactively preventing illness. And this is a hot topic these days because the stories I'm going to share with you are very pre-COVID, like decades before COVID. But now we are in a different space where this what if hangs around us all the time. And we're going to be moving our bodies to other places and spaces or inviting other people's into ours. And that automatically increases the possibility that they are going to bring with them a germ or two. And then I also want to talk about acute illnesses. Ongoing chronic illnesses that maybe exist in your family, your extended family, your parents, your grandparents, and that they're at high risk. And so honoring who they are and what they need matters too. Boy, is this a tricky time of year, isn't it, mamas? Where we want nothing more than just to be with the people we love most and trust that it's all going to be okay. So let's start with the unexpected illness. My daughter Claire, who's now 20, way back on her first Christmas, she was 9 months old. First Christmas. How big and special and important do we make that in our head, right? I had all the plans. I had the beautiful dress. We had the traditions ready that we were starting, all of it. And she woke up with a fever of 102. And it all fell apart. Did not get to see family. Did not get to celebrate the way that I thought we should. And way back then, I'll be honest, I didn't handle it as well as I would now. It was the biggest, fattest Christmas bummer ever, on top of the fact that I had a really sick kid who needed me, right? So that makes your mama heart really hurt they're floppy, they're hot, they don't eat, they can't sleep well, they just need you. So unexpected illness is one of those spaces where you just have to lean in and say, this is what it is. Not a pretty or fancy little mantra that's on your wall, although I do have a plaque on mine that says it is what it is to try to keep me in a good headspace. In that moment, it literally just was what it was. And it sucked for her because she felt awful. And for me, if I'm being honest, because I wanted all the first Christmas things. I wanted all the pictures. I wanted all the smiles. I wanted all the memories. Neither of us got that in that day. And it was okay. Nothing drastically changed about her life. She had a virus. She got better. A few days later, I put her in the dress next to the tree that was still up, and I got the pictures and I got the smiles. And when you look through the scrapbook, nobody knows the difference. It was me that had to let go of all that expectation. So here is the second thing, right? This, what we are living with right now, this proactive idea that we know there is a virus, that there is a COVID virus out there that continually moves from person to person. We are no longer in the space where it is dangerous to most. It is frustrating when we catch it because we have to put our lives on hold. But we know it's there. So this idea that everybody gets their own opinion, everybody gets to feel how they feel about masking. Everybody gets to choose how far they're willing to go. Everyone gets to decide if close contact is something that feels safe to them. And from where I sit, it's about honoring that. This is tricky stuff, especially because of the political undertones and because it can cause such struggle when you're interacting with family members, right? They say you can choose your friends, you can't choose your family. Well, you certainly cannot try to change their feelings or opinions about this, and you shouldn't. You are 100% permitted yours, but they are theirs too. So recently, Claire came home for a visit, right? So that 9-month-old who was super sick on her first Christmas, let's flash way forward to present day, where she now lives in Tennessee. And she came home for a visit. And my parents really, really, really wanted to see her. They were so excited. It was kind of like a holiday. They really wanted to see her. And she moved from Tennessee climate back to fall in Vermont and immediately caught a cold. COVID negative, but caught a cold. My parents are older. They're in their late 70s and early 80s, and they are very proactive about keeping themselves healthy. For them, masking is very important to keep themselves healthy. They really choose the spaces they go and the people that they hang out with on purpose because they know they're at a higher risk for complications if they get the virus. We had planned a dinner at their house. Claire, myself, my husband, my mom, my dad. It was going to be great. My mom had done all the cooking. Oh my gosh, did I feel just awful when I had to make the call and say, hey, she has a cold. She doesn't have COVID, but we know how important staying healthy is to you, especially as here in Vermont, we enter the holiday season and the winter season. Wanted to give you the option of what to do. That is honoring somebody else's proactive prevention strategies. It was such a bummer. But we all accepted it for what it was and found a compromise, which, of course, in my collaborative parenting world is all I ever want, is for us to all throw everything down on the table and then say, without high emotion or blame or shame or how did you or what did you do to make this happen to yourself? How can we work to find a compromise and a solution? And so we did. They packed up the food, brought it here, dropped it off for later, and had a short visit with Claire in person while masking. And that was that. Everybody got what they needed to fill their hearts, and everybody felt safe around the germs and the illness. All right, so what about this last piece as we go into this holiday season? What about your family members who do have chronic illness, who have an acute illness right now? They're battling cancer, or they are high risk because they have rheumatoid arthritis or some other autoimmune disorder that means that their immune system in general is not going to fight things as well or as easily. How do you honor those family members, those friends in your life, and still celebrate together? This is a tricky one for me to speak directly to because I am blessed that my parents and my husband's parents are all really quite healthy. And so we're not dealing with this yet. But here's what I would say from my perspective, what I would do. Ask them. I know that staying healthy is hard for you, and it really matters to you. I know that us spending time with you poses a risk. I can't guarantee what my little people are dragging along with them or not, even if they look and feel fine. You tell me what you want us to do, because my goal is to make sure that you have the most magical holiday and you make the most magical memories that you want for your heart as we move forward as a family. This really is up to them. Some people will just say, I want every minute with those grandkids that I could have. Wonderful. Some will say, I've had a hard spell as of late. I'm not sure it's a great idea. Maybe we can do this over Zoom. And when I'm feeling well enough again, we can recreate our Christmas experience. We can recreate our Hanukkah, or whatever your holiday is. This is about the human experience. My third story also reverses time a bit. My husband was, oh my gosh, I don't even actually know how old he was, but he was young. He was a teenager. And his grandmother was battling cancer. And he came down with the teeniest, tiniest little cold ever. This was back in the early 90s. And he had to stay home while the rest of the family got to go to Christmas at Grandma's house. He still talks about it. It's still a disappointing experience for him, but he also says, I know it was the right thing for her. I would have felt absolutely horrible if I was the one who caused her to go into a spiral, since she already had such a weakened immune system. I am thinking of every single one of you and praying for every single one of you that you create your magical moments during this holiday season. Inside this chaos that we are living, which is a COVID world, because it's not gone, it's just hanging out, right? It's like that best friend that you kind of broke up with. Now they're around, you see them in the neighborhood, but you just avoid them at all costs. Just hanging out, saying, I'm still here. But my goal for you is to walk into the new year saying, I did the holiday season my way. And I also honored and respected everybody else that I knew I was coming in contact with so that they felt that they got a little more magic in their holiday too. Until our next episode, stay mindful and proactive as you transform the toddler years.